it's a fun. I mean, it's a fun thing to do on a first date, you know.
Here on a first date, quite nervous. An interesting place to choose. She chose NUH and she said she wanted to show me some stuff. So we'll see how this goes, I guess. Oh, hey!
Hey! Oh, thank you!
So, did I come at a bad time? It seems like you're quite busy. Should we like reschedule?
No, it's fine.
Then if you are like so busy, do you even have time to like date?
Well, in between my shifts, there are days where I rest and do things that I like, and I can go out to date on those days.
So is it not like tiring?
There are just days where it gets a little busier than usual and more challenging because you have multiple patients with different levels of being critically ill.
Well, why did we choose here as our first date?
I work here and I wanted to show you what I do. Perhaps you can try some of the things that I do.
Oh, try what?
This is one of the common modes of therapy that we put on patients. So this is called high-flow nasal cannula. You remember during the pandemic that there were some patients who were said to be needing higher levels of oxygen. We can set higher levels or percentage of oxygen. That helps keep the airways open and your air sacs open and allow gas exchange to happen better.
So is this technically how you take someone's breath away?
No, you're giving it back to them. Basically, by keeping the air sacs open, then there's more gas exchange like what happens in you and me, so then their oxygen levels can be higher.
Right, making it easier to breathe.
Yeah. Okay, you can plug in the hoses first.
Okay, white pipe will be oxygen.
Yes. Yeah.
If you want to progress far in life, get it untangled.
Sounds like a movie that I might like.
You watch those like Korean medical drama stuff and like tell them like, hey, no, that's wrong. You're not supposed to need that right.
Yeah.
Or
I
you?
think it's a occupation habit. You look at those movies and you're like, what's this? That's wrong, that's wrong. And if you want to, you can put it in your nose too. Put it on. How do you feel?
Very well breathing. So I just bring this with me, or
We can leave this here.
so what if you take my breath away again?
So
Yes.
this is the majority of the patients that I see in the intensive care unit. They have a breathing tube in them,
Okay.
and they're connected to a device called a ventilator that supports their breathing. Respiratory therapists are trained to do intubation, and most of the time we're assisting doctors in the process. So that's why I wanted to show you how to do intubation today.
Okay, yes. Intubation, yeah.
Use the video laryngoscope. So you're gonna put this, follow the curvature.
Okay.
You are going to try to find the vocal cord.
Okay.
And then you're gonna try pushing this tube through the vocal cords. Yeah, you put it in already.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright, so I can take this out and I can remove this. Okay. Nice.
Actually, we have to make sure that this tube went into the right tract, the windpipe, instead
Yes.
of the foot pipe. So we can listen to the patient's breath sounds
Okay.
and make sure that there's chest rise.
Actually, do you just like use this as a stress ball sometimes?
Good idea.
Actually, what's the hardest part of like your job?
The hardest part of my job is seeing patients deteriorating and being at the stage where the treatment we're giving is not going to change the outcome anymore. They are at their last stage of life and we don't want to prolong their suffering.
So when those kind of things happen, how do you feel usually like?
Witnessing it at the bedside is quite emotional. It's very hard to see. So I personally would walk away after I remove the tube. Yeah.
How do you normally like de-stress from work, like, and keep yourself going?
I do some simple things like going out to parks, look at the greenery, listen to the sound of nature. Definitely got to go out and enjoy your days off doing things that you like. Yeah. that keeps me going.
That's nice to hear. So actually, what made you want to become a respiratory therapist?
I was about to graduate, so I was interested in like being in the medical field, and I wasn't really sure what to do initially. So I went to a scholarship fair. I met someone who's a respiratory therapist himself, and he shared with me quite a bit about RT. So I got more interested in that and started digging more and more into it. I felt that there were certain points in my life and experiences that I could connect with in this field because I have asthma myself. At one point in my life when I was young, I thought that I would just pass on in my sleep one day because I'm short of breath and then I might just stop breathing. And also, I had a relative who suffered from a muscular dystrophy condition and ended up being intubated. And also at one point, my mom was pretty sick and had a lung condition that was related to her autoimmune disease. So I felt that if I go into this field, I can connect with the patients, knowing how it is to feel short of breath myself. I thought it would be meaningful to go into this field to help people.
So actually, what do you study to become an RT?
So I took a bachelor's in health sciences. I studied in University of Missouri. I was there for almost 4 years.
Isn't studying overseas, I feel like, wouldn't that be like very expensive?
But it's all covered by the scholarship. So how about yourself? Is there any like field you're very into?
Well, okay, I guess I'm quite into media. I feel like one thing I do want to be is, like to work in like Mothership. So what's the most memorable part of your job so far?
I had a patient who was a smoker and it was his first time getting on a ventilator, and we couldn't get the breathing tube out because his condition was so bad that his airways were like pretty tight and it would be hard for him to breathe. So he ended up with a tube in his neck, and I remember we were able to get him out of the ICU, and that day when he left the ICU, he was smiling and waving bye to me.
Oh.
So it felt like I made an impact in his care over here, and that was very memorable. Yeah.
Thank you for showing me around. I really enjoyed today.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Oh, yeah.
I'll text you.
Okay.
So how do you think the date went?
Alvin seems like a really fun guy.
It was a unique date, I guess. We did a lot of interesting things we don't normally do on a first date.
Do you think you'll be a second date?
Let's see.
I hope so. Hopefully she replies my text, I guess.